16 years ago, 5 Geordie lads made #1 on both sides of the Atlantic with House of the Rising Sun. Since then, the North East has produced some of the most important talent ever to hit the pop scene. How do the new bands check out alongside some of these?
With the Sultans, with the Sultans of Swing. Taking the bottle, taking the bottle.
Pretty impressive, isn't it? And we didn't have time to include my all-time hero, Swoon Swoon, Paul Rogers.
Oh, Lynn, he's very good, but you're showing your age a bit, aren't you?
What do you
What
mean?
about Chris Ray or Hank Marvin?
Hank Marvin? Does he come from the North East?
He does indeed.
Oh, so I don't know everything. Well, if you've been watching Check It Out recently, you'll know we've been scouring the region for some new faces, if you pardon the pun. New faces who have what it takes to join the ranks of some of the bands you've just seen. And the reaction was really incredible.
Yes, we had over 230 demo tapes sent in and a host of locally produced singles, all of which prove that you don't have to travel to London to make a professional recording. Tapes came from all over the region, literally, and we had the difficult job of picking some bands for the show, and the final list included bands from the Three Rivers.
Mind you, there was the odd one which made us all reach for the aspirants, including a punk version of Bladen Races, would you believe? But generally, the standard was excellent. We've all spent hours glued to cassette players and stuck in the corners of youth clubs and garages, hoping to discover the next Sting, Lynn.
Or a local version of Debbie Harry, Martin. And talking of ladies, where were you girls? Out of all the bands, there are only 5 lady rockers and they were backed by blokes. Shame. But anyway, with a 5-piece band from Teesside, we're going to take a back seat and let the music speak for itself. And here to get the show on the road are Bassax, with an incredible number of their own called Ego Therapy.
Been too long in the dark room. Are you processing double exposures? And when there's no easy way to be happy, can you find me a fitting roses? I want no part in this menagerie. It puts my friends in pose.
bass sax. It's a very original name from the combination of the bass and the sax.
Very good, very good.
Well, judging by the reaction we've had, it certainly looks as if Teesside is all set to become the Liverpool of the North, with almost every town and village producing at least one band of its own, and most of them are good.
Yes, so good, in fact, that we're featuring another band from that area later in the programme. Another trend that we found, there was that bands generally seem to be getting younger, which might not have been the case a couple of years ago. And here to prove it are three lads from Sunderland who have to be seen to be believed. They're called the Toy Dolls, and we caught up with them on back shift at a sweaty little gig not a million miles away from Horden Colliery. The band have quite a following in the area and even managed to drag a rather famous Radio 1 DJ along to see them, who just aired the single a night before. So here from Wearside with their tribute to the naughty night spots of Sunderland are the Toy Dolls with the incredible Olga.
Every night, I know she goes to Vino's. And every night, I know that she sees him. Yeah. And every night, she holds him tight at Vino's. And every night, it's all right for him. 'Cause she goes la 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 to Vino's. Yes, she goes la 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 with him. Yeah. And she goes la 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 to Vino's. Yes, she goes la 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 la. Oh, with him. All right. Every night I try to get into Vino's. And every night they just won't let me in. No, they won't. And every night I want to meet at Vino's. And every night it's all right for him. Yeah. Because she goes la 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 to Vino's. And she goes la 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 with him. Yeah. And she goes la 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 to Vino's. Yes, she goes la 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 la. Oh, with him. There she goes. One of these nights I'm gonna get in the Vino's. One of these nights I'm gonna make a see. Yeah. And every night I'm gonna go to Vino's. Every night they'll be alright for me. 'Cause she goes la 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 to Vino's. Yes, she goes la 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 with him. Yeah. And she goes la 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 to Vino's. Alright. And she goes la 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 la. Oh, every night I know she goes to Vino's.
Chris asked John how he'd become the champion of unknown bands and what a nice boy like him was doing in a place like this.
You get fed up with like the regular routine, going to some big hall in London, seeing people getting paid for being famous, you know, when all they have to do is turn up, play the last LP very loud, that kind of thing. And you just get bored with that, so I found I'd rather go out to little places and see bands play that... I'd sooner go to somewhere and see like 3 or 4 people I'd never heard of. You know, most of the time they're terrible. But every once in a while you get a good one, you know.
You must get an awful lot of demos sent in to you. Do you manage to listen to them all?
Well, I do get a lot of demos, yeah. It's like an occupational hazard. What happens is that people send them to you, you know, and then they'll come to you and say, we sent you a demo last Tuesday, have you heard it yet? And I always carry a photograph, which you can't see, but have it there, which is a picture of me and a pile of demos. I've got about 1,200 of them at home at the moment. I get about 10, 12, 15 a day.
Could you enlarge a little bit on what you've seen tonight?
You can tell they're a northern band, you know, or you get the same sort of thing over the border in Scotland, where bands have to earn a living, not just being terribly hip and being aloof and elusive, you know, and difficult. they have to actually go out and earn a living. So the bloke there, your man, is a really good entertainer, almost like a musical tradition, you know, going back like 100 years or so. I mean, he's a really good entertainer. I think they're better off being a really good night out in the northeast than just being another band scuffling in London. It doesn't matter, you know, if they go on to become famous and wealthy and so on. Actually, that can be very destructive, you know. I mean, I'd like to be that little lad in the band here, you know. I mean, I think that's really good. I'd love to be as exuberant as he is and just be able to get out there and do it, and people are glad you're there and people are glad to see you. It's very good.
Good advice from John Peel. Now, we mentioned earlier what a wealth of talent seemed to be coming out of Teesside at the moment. Of course, the area has a great tradition of rock vocalists with David Coverdale and more recently Chris Ray. It seems as if there's something in the air guaranteed to add gravel to the old vocal codes, because there's another name to add to that list, and he's called Mike Wilson. The band is Return Ticket, and here they are with their own number entitled The Ballad of Crazy Joe.
Crazy Joe and me over the Eagles' place. We were drinking wine, smoking out the place. Hours went by when a bird had caught my eye. And from that day on, I had to fly. It wasn't hard for me, being only 17. The nights were hard, but not the rivers where we swam. And we be drinking beer, babe, from a river can. They never could lose from a city little river town. The sun up on the rubber band, we smell for miles around. Now how many nights do you remember that ended like that? I guess in your mind, this song is done, he played. Crazy Joe and me never met again. He went chasing dreams across the world's end. The song remained the same, anytime, any place, anywhere. If you listen to the wind, you might find it somewhere. Say, lay with me across the water, fight the storm until the end. You know, sing the song that never falters. Kill the night with just one dare. You know. So won't you lay with me across the water? And we could fight the storm until the end. And we can sing the song that never falters. And we kill the night. But sure enough, kill the night with just one day.
Well, he's certainly got gravel and leather tonsils, hasn't he? Touch of the old Paul Rogers there.
Pretty powerful voice there, Chris.
Oh, well, anyway, that's got Lynn here all of a dither, so it's about time we had one for the lads. And if I tell you that the next band are called Erogenous Zones, you'll soon see why. the band sent us a brilliant demo tape recorded locally, which has been playing non-stop in the Check It Out office ever since.
They come from Tyneside and they have one of the most exciting girl singers you're likely to hear or see for a long time to come. Here's one of the tracks from that tape, Erogenous Zones with Modern Woman.
Ooh, what a nice chassis, and Lynn quite liked the car as well. Anyway, it's hard to believe that that track there was originally done and recorded by only 2 people, which can't be bad. Anyway, here from Tyneside, again with their own brand of rock and reggae, are 4 lads from Jesmond and 1 from foreign parts who make up the Jeans, and one of us won't sleep tonight.
One of us won't sleep tonight. I know you're sitting there waiting for me, but I won't show you, don't know. I'll say this to you. I would dare to do, consider it done. One of us won't sleep tonight. Some say I'm crazy, they don't understand. Too much to do, before too much is planned. The dream police storm in with a run. How can I sleep when you're knocking at the door? Oh, one of us won't sleep tonight. Here we are, looking at the stars. I looked out of my window. What did I see? 2 years gone and enough meant to me. Had lied, you cheated on me. One of us won't sleep tonight. Some say I'm crazy.
I thought that was really magic, really funky, man.
Well, I thought all 5 bands were great and I'd buy the records.
Oh, keep it up, you might get them for free.
And that's just about all we've got time for. Thanks a million to everyone who sent in a tape. We would need at least 3 hours to feature all the bands we liked. But a new series of Check It Out is planned, and we're certainly going to continue plugging local talent, so keep in touch.
And a special mention for 2 bands, the Torpedoes and Penny and the Rims, who we would love to have featured, but couldn't because of time. If they're playing in your area, try to check them out for yourself.
Yes, and we'll also be inviting the record companies along to watch the programme, and if any shrewd A&R man shows even a hint of interest in any of the bands you've seen today, we'll be keeping you posted on the progress.
Oh, thank you very much indeed, Mickey Most. Get him. Well, we thought we'd leave the last word with John Peel. I mean, he's been airing new talent nearly every night for the last 16 years, with considerable success. Although he did say that Rod Stewart never rings him now. Cheerio.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
If somebody had come to me and said, do you want to be in a band? I'd have said, there were 2 things. If they said, do you want to play for Liverpool but you've got to die when you're 30, I'd have said yes. And if somebody said, do you want to be in a band but you've got to die when you're 30, I'd have said yes to that as well. So I think if you get a chance to be in a band, even if nothing ever happens to you, then you should do it. You know? So that's the advice I'd give them, is to go ahead and do it.